Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at the 2023 Acura TLX Type S. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this vehicle for me today. They have a huge selection of new and pre-owned inventory. That link is down in the description. So this TLX is finished off in a very beautiful Apex Blue Pearl with an MSRP in the mid $50,000 range. Now, powering this Type S is a 3-liter turbocharged V6 paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, pumping out 355 horsepower, 354 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,200-pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. It has a top speed of 155. It also has a fuel capacity of 15.9 gallons. You'll expect to see around 19 miles per gallon in the city, 25 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 113 inches. Its overall length is 194.6. It has a width of 75.2 and a height of 56.4 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Type S, let's start off with the design for the grille. Now it has a really thin design to it. It almost has a smiley face look to it with the point in the lower section and how it curves up. But the Acura badge is also the forward-facing sensor. It takes up a lot of the grille, but I think it looks very nice. Plenty of cutouts with the Type S badge. This also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. You'll notice too that part of the bumper actually goes above the headlight housing. So it has that sunken in look to it, especially with the bodywork right in front of it. Now there's parking sensors located throughout, and then gloss black trim for that lower front splitter, along with gloss black for the grille surround. Really nice lines coming down the hood. It gives it that sporty front end, especially being the Type S. I think it looks fantastic. Now, these wheels are 20 inches. They're wrapped in a Pirelli P0 tire, which is a performance summer tire for a sedan like this. Pretty cool to see that. This is all-wheel drive, so this is going to have a lot of grip. We have the red Brembo brake calipers, gray on the wheels, which is a perfect touch with this blue. You'll notice too that the S in Type S is also red, so it matches the brake calipers there. And then this has power folding side mirrors with the body colored on the lower section, gloss black up top, along with the turn signal. This has a sunroof. All of the window trim is blacked out. And there's really nice lines both in the lower section and going up to that rear door handle. Gives it a great look for this sedan. Now this also has gloss black for the trunk mounted spoiler, backup camera right in the middle of the Acura badge. This has the SH all-wheel drive badge on that right side. Quad tip dual exhaust with more gloss black in that lower diffuser. And this even has remote start. So if we hold this button up top, it already sounds good just at an idle. Now you can hold on that button too to shut it off as needed. We can push the button on the key fob itself or use this hidden button in one of the LED taillights over on the passenger side. Now it's not a power trunk, but it will open up from there. And as you can tell, there's a good amount of space. What's interesting though is that you can fold the back seats down, but check out that strut brace that runs right through the middle. So you have some space underneath it. But as far as putting in a lot of items, that kind of takes away from some of that practicality, although it does give this vehicle some added structural components, which is nice to see. So a little bit of a trade-off, but you can still fold them down and put items through as needed. Now as we work our way to the back seats, you can unlock this from the back door handles, so just like that, which is a convenient feature to have. So there's white leather on the armrest. We have the ELS Studio 3D sound system, a little bit of storage, and some brush trim on that release handle. And then a two-tone design for the white and black leather with all the black piping, which is a great touch. And at 5'10", there's plenty of space. There's a storage pocket on both sides, air vents right in the middle. I have about an inch or so above my head. So for this style sedan, it's pretty roomy for your backseat passengers. Right in the middle, there's cup holders, armrests, a little bit of storage if you need to use it. And that pillar's pretty thin. So you have a lot of glass in both directions to give you plenty of visibility and lighting for the passengers in the back. Now up front, the door panel is just like the rear. There's all of the window adjustments, side mirror adjustments, power folding, memory seating controls, and then a release for that trunk. And we have the same design up front. Now these are automatic seats, and those controls are finished off in black chrome there, which is a great touch. Type S is also down on the door sill. And then look at this steering wheel. We have solid and perforated leather, flat bottom design with the Type S badge. But let's fire this back up. Now on the left side, there's a scrolling dial along with volume and power, Bluetooth, as well as some apps. Right side, you have cruise control settings, your steering assist, distance pacing, and then you can cancel it too. This also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, which is nice to see. Now for the gauges, on the left side, there's the tach, right side, there's the miles per hour, and then within the LCD screen, there's engine temperature and fuel level currently on both sides. Now, if I use the control on the right of the steering wheel, I can go up to current speed, and then you have some various settings that you can go into, like maintenance, tire pressure, look at your all-wheel drive. You have some driver assistance that you can display, along with the different driving modes will appear too. So not a ton of information to go through within that gauge cluster, but it is nice that you do have some that you can go through. Now on the left side, there's the e-brake at the lower section, traction control and parking sensors. There's the rear defroster. If I push on this button right here, that is for the safety support. So you can go through your pre-collision, your blind spot, and turn all of those on and off as needed. Dimmer switch for the gauges, along with one air vent. And then right in the middle, we have the infotainment system that is a good ways from the driver. Now you can use the controls down below to further go through this information. So just by pushing on home, now we are here where there's navigation and phone. This is not a touchscreen system, which is interesting to note, but there's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have some of your other audio adjustments. If I push on this top button over on the right side, now we can get to some card information over on that left side. If we go back to home, we can use the control down below to swipe through this information. And then you have basically two adjustments, left screen and right screen, to swipe through this. You can pull up the navigation on that right side. So it's an interesting layout to go through. I do wish it was touch screen, but nonetheless, you have everything that you need to use, and you'll get used to it the more that you go through that. There's a physical button for power and volume, and then tuning is just behind that. Now the dash is also covered in leather. There's the hazards right in the middle, and then we have another screen for all the climates. There's fan speed, where you'd like the air to go, temperature controls on both sides. This even has heated and ventilated seats with an auto adjustment. And then with the dynamic mode, we have a really cool rotary dial to go through the different driving modes. So there's comfort along with normal, there's sport, and then sport plus. And the exhaust will change slightly. The RPM jumped up into sport plus. If I go back, you can see that go back down. So it definitely gives you a little bit more response, and you can see all those adjust within the infotainment system. Now underneath that, there's the engine start stop along with the brake hold, and then this is how we can go through the gears. So push on that for reverse, where there's the backup camera, and then again, you can use that pad down below to further go through this information. It's very identical to a Lexus system in a sense with how user-friendly this is. And then from there, we have neutral, then we have drive and sport mode. That allows you to use these paddle shifters, and park is located back up top. Now down below, there are two cup holders. We have a pad here where you could rest your hands, so you can use those controls in front of it. Wireless charging is just behind that, and then even more storage space and auxiliaries are in the center armrest. Glove box also has a good amount of space for all of that info. Sunglass holder up top with all the dome lights, and we have the sun roof adjustments located up top too. And here's a look at visibility from the driver's seat. Very open feeling from up front. So now let's go ahead and get this out on the road. As we set off now behind the wheel for this TLX Type S, I already went ahead and put it in Sport Plus. We have the paddles ready to go. Wow, I was not expecting that. This has a good bit of acceleration to it. Not crazy loud, but it's nice that it even has somewhat of an exhaust note tone. This is going to be a little bit more on the luxury side, being an Acura, which is the parent company to Honda. So it has some similar Honda vibes to it, but kind of that next level. Same with Toyota and Lexus. Now, as far as, like I said earlier, MSRP, mid $50,000 range, and that'll vary slightly just depending on some options. I'm not sure if this is fully loaded or not, but it definitely has some goodies in it. And it definitely has a good low tone to it. But for that price range, you're pretty much in the ballpark of a lot of other well-equipped sedans. You have maybe the Avalon, which is going to be a little bit more expensive than a Camry, so Avalon could be on board with this as far as being right around that $50,000 mark. And you even have maybe some lower entry-level BMWs, some Lexuses even. So you have a lot of options in that price range, and honestly, for an Acura, I am digging it. Now, one thing that I will say, a little bit of a drawback, I think, is the fact that this isn't a touchscreen system. I can't even reach it, though, from the driver's seat. So it's a benefit that you can use it down here. Maybe if it was a little bit closer, they could be touchscreen. Interesting to see that. I know Lexus did that for a while. They didn't have a touchscreen system. So I would like to see a touchscreen, especially for the price. I think that would be really beneficial. This is definitely a cool sedan, something to put on your radar if you want something that I would say is a little bit more on the underside of being a luxury brand. You know, you have Audi, BMW, Lexus. Acura is kind of like just underneath those. I would say it's kind of in the middle. It's not quite as luxurious, but it's not a base type of vehicle either, like a Honda would be, having some things that are a little bit different. So if you want something that is going to be very reliable, Honda, Acura, extremely reliable vehicles. And from second gear, here we go. So smooth in those shifts. It gives you that refined feeling without having some jolts in the shifts. It's just straight through until you let off. Same with the downshifts. I will say it kind of sounds like it's a mini GTR almost. It has that vibe to it. Of course, not on the same level because we have the turbo V6 instead of a twin turbo V6. Definitely a fun vehicle to drive. Everything is super easy to use as well, including that screen, so you can use everything down below. But we have a pretty solid interior. Nothing too fancy, I would say, for the price tag. It gives you everything that you need, all of the essentials, basically. So for that price tag, you don't have a crazy amount of tech and some other goodies that maybe some other more luxurious brands would have. But for the price, I think it's very well equipped for what it has to offer. Steering is super good. You could definitely take this on some mountain trips. You have the Brembo brakes, so you have the performance needed to drive this in performance situations. It's something like I said, it's not quite at that luxury level, but you have performance to it with almost being at that same level. Very interesting to see. I think this is definitely very cool. My first time driving a TLX Type S, and I'm definitely impressed. I think it's a very nice sedan option to go with, and one for the money is something to consider. But I think that's going to wrap it up for the walk-around review and test drive and the TLX Type S. Once again, a huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this sedan for me today. Check out their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.